There we go. I am live with the amazing, the wonderful C2C client, Rachael Warner.
Wow. What
How
an
are you
intro.
doing?
I'm very good. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm lagging a bit, but I'm all right.
That's those drinks last night.
Maybe. If I had drunk any, but I didn't. I don't drink. Anyway, moving into the meat and the real reason we are here, not to discuss alcoholism. We've been working together for some time, and you have come through or been through one hell of a journey, which I'm very keen to unpack. The highs, the lows, the lefts, the rights, the sideways, whatever. We'll get to it. Before I do, rather than ruin your intro, I will let you give a bit of context in a couple of lines, just one or two sentences. What do you sell and who do you sell it to?
Okay. I sell comms, communications and writing training to big organizations.
Big organizations.
Big, yeah. Corporates, big public sector organizations, all that.
Amazing. Okay. Let's go away from the business for a sec, because there's a really good backstory. I think your whole journey and transformation has been insane. What were things like before C2C? More so internally than business-wise. Like, how were you feeling? What was it like?
Horrible, if I'm honest. I had always done pretty well in my career, like nice promotions, working my way up the ladder. And then I worked for myself and I just wasn't seeing that transfer over. So I got into my head that I was only ever going to be successful if I was working for somebody else. It's almost like there was some sort of blocker that stopped me being good self-employed, basically. That's how I saw it. So I wasn't looking for jobs, like proper jobs, because like for my situation at home, my husband owns a pub, like it would never have worked me having like an actual real life job with proper working hours. But I was looking for like contracts just to bring some money in and also to like bring me a confidence boost because I was really struggling there.
Okay. It's a hard sport, right? Like you've had wobbles. I have frequent wobbles where you question everything, wonder if you're on the right path. There is no like stability when it comes to entrepreneurship, especially in the early stages. Like you have to be willing to be unsettled at all times. And I think 4 years in, I think I am now, nearly 4 years into being unemployed. I like to call it unemployed, not self-employed, because I fucking never getting a job ever again, Lord willing. It still remains like that for me. How was that playing out in everyday life? Because you mentioned you know your husband's got a pub. That's a pretty busy thing to keep up with. You've got a little one as well.
Yep. I was really busy. I was working like crazy hours, but it just wasn't. I kind of thought I've just got to work harder. I've got to do more. And so I was constantly stressed, constantly busy, but I just wasn't really getting anywhere with it. And so kind of my default was like, well, I just need to work harder then. And I beat myself up because I wasn't getting where I wanted to be. And I love all the manifestation stuff. And so I had these like ridiculous vision boards, but they were just so far away from where I was. It felt ludicrous. And so then again, just like the circle of shame and beating myself up even more because I wasn't making any progress. Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Yeah, it is, because it's a complete solo sport. You know, even when you're in contact and in communities with other people, there is still a time that you have to spend. I liken it to like being a boxer. So you can go into the gym, you can do the training, you can have a laugh with the coaches and stuff like that, but you've still got to be the one that like gets yourself to the gym, and the one that's got to go through the mental torture and just wondering, oh my God, what's fight night going to be like? You know, all these different things that just come and like plague you that no one else can take off your plate. And I think entrepreneurship is very, very similar. It's not a team sport a lot of the time in the early stages.
Yeah, and you don't have anyone like bigging you up when you're low. So one of my, I can remember in a performance review I had in government, And one of my bosses in the performance review said, like, one of the reasons you're so good is because you've got a devil on your shoulder telling you you're crap. And that pushes you to work hard and to be good. And I think when I was like, before I joined C2C, I had that devil on my shoulder telling me that I'm crap, but there was no one else to say, no, you're doing all right, actually. You're doing really well. Like you're overperforming, you're getting these results, which is obviously what I'd always had as with an employer. So it's just me telling myself that I was shit, which is just really
you got no angel on the other shoulder, right? And it's like, I completely buy into that way of thinking as well, because I call it productive paranoia. Like I'm working as hard as I can because I'm so nervous that something's going to go wrong or that I'm not good enough or whatever. And I still hold that a little bit to this day. I think a lot of people have that and don't know it.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
I really do, especially in the entrepreneurial space, because we're all perfectionists to some degree. We're all overthinkers to some degree. Most of us to many degrees. So what was it that made you take the leap? You obviously found out about me, Katie, both, whatever. But what made you go like, you know what, I'm going to give this guy some money and like do this relatively unknown thing, because it's not cheap and there's a lot of potential risks.
Yeah.
When you join any program that's a few grand.
Yeah, cool. So I'd come across one of your, I think it was a masterclass or a workshop, like 18 months before. And I'd said to myself, like, when I've got the money, I'm going to do that. I knew it felt like the right fit for me, but it was that kind of ridiculous thing of like, oh yeah, I just need to bring some more money in, and then I can do that. And then I started. I did one of Katie's challenges, and so obviously like fell in love with her, not in a weird way, but you know. And then kind of obviously was hearing about C2C from her, and then it got to the point where I was like, nothing's really changed. I've started doing better in terms of my personal brand and stuff that I'd learned from Katie, but I'm still not where I want to be. And like, am I going to wait another 18 months before I take the plunge? So it's just, I had to rip that plaster off and be like, I've got to back myself, because I'd done programs before and I hadn't got anywhere. So I was kind of, I was a bit averse. I'd not been burnt by anyone else, but more for myself. Like I hadn't gone through on the investments that I'd made before. So it was like not a last chance saloon, but I was like, I've got to do this and I've got to do it properly. I've got to make the most of the community and the course and everything and get my money's worth, which I did, I feel like. Still do.
Yeah, certainly seems like it. But what were you most concerned about then? Because there was the constant in you doing a program and it not working, and then you doing a program and it not working, and then you doing a program and it not working. The constant thread is you there.
Yep.
What were you most concerned about when coming to work with us?
I think it wasn't a concern, but it was more like, I've got to do what they say I should do, even if it makes me want to like stick pins in my eyes, i.e. the sales and marketing stuff. Because that's what I was always avoiding. And one of the first sessions that we had, and I think it might have been another like C2C'er, it said, like, you have to do the sales and marketing stuff so that you can do what you actually want to do. Like that would be your job to get yourself going. And I was like, shit, I've been trying to avoid it. I can't avoid it. And I knew that. So yeah, I basically like put myself at your mercy and did the stuff that I hated doing, and then actually turned out it was actually all right, and it wasn't that bad.
It's a little bit of discomfort for an easier life, I think. But yeah, that was a Stephen Locke quote from what I remember. So anyone watching or listening that doesn't know Stephen Locke, he's an ex-C2C client, amazing guy. So much so that I paid him to life and that mindset coach me for a year last year. And he said, I want to be a coach, but I don't get to be a coach unless I become a marketer and a salesperson first. So that's my job. And when I do that job, I get to do my real job. I'm like, fucking gold. I love it. Such a great mindset shift.
So good. Yeah.
Speaking of mindset shifts, what have been the shifts? Because you've described this irate, potential chaotic state on one side, and then looking at you now, you seem a world apart from that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a different type of chaos because I'm really busy. So it's kind of almost flipped to the other way of I've been so busy that I haven't had a chance to do as much sales and marketing. So that's what I'm focusing back on now. But it's been, when did I join CCC? Last February. Mindset work. I'm enjoying it. I love it. I love my job. I love what I do. I can't even call it a job. That sounds weird. My clients are ace. I'm having fun. I'm being myself. And I'm actually enjoying the sales and marketing side of things as well, which is nuts because that was the thing that I was avoiding for far too long. But the way that you've kind of introduced it to me is a totally different way to what I've done before. And I can be myself and I should be myself. And I think I was trying to avoid that before because of who I was selling to. I thought I had to be a certain way. And actually now I just can be authentic.
Yay. Well, that is it's a liberating thing, right? When you realize, oh, I can make money, but I don't have to, because when you go through a job, it's all about wearing different masks to keep other people happy. But when you create your own job, you can literally just do what the fuck you want, and people will either like it or not.
Yeah,
and life just gets so easy when you do it that way.
I'd kind of had in my head that because I was selling to corporates and selling to senior people who were like in turn like charged with these massive teams, that I had to be like professional because that's how they were, and it's all complete bullshit. And now I can swear, and like people, I'm not going to say they hire me because I'm sweary, but they kind of connect with the person that I actually am rather than anything that I'm trying to be, which is pretty powerful. It makes it a hell of a lot easier as well.
Yeah, it really does, because you're not like, it's exhausting trying to be something you're not. I've been there, I've done that, to impress just people at school or whatever, and like in jobs. It doesn't have to be that way. Night and day difference. So what does the business look like now? Because you said you basically got too many clients, or you're too busy to fully focus on sales and marketing. What's the average day week look like now?
So like the first quarter of this year was nuts. I kind of and actually unsustainable. So I've kind of April and May have been nice to kind of take a deep breath and figure out, like with my little boy starting in school in September, I'm like reduced hours compared to nursery hours. So I've got to start figuring out that. So it's a real mix now. I've got a really nice balance of client delivery, which I love, like workshops, both face-to-face and online, kind of around the world, which is really cool. I've got a course for organizations or smaller teams that can't justify the like investment for my kind of bespoke workshops. And then conversations, chatting with people, whether that's over my like Friday email that I put out or on LinkedIn, and like meeting very funny, very cool people that are on my side when it comes to how I think like comms and writing should be in big organizations, because there's a load of them out there, and I found them over the past year, which is very cool.
Yeah, and that will continue to snowball. Have you got any significant, like well-known brands or companies that you can name drop who you've sold to?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to use their logos.
You can say them out loud. Is that all right? Or?
Yeah, I can say their names, but I can't use their logos. I am on a repeat, like doing another session with Deloitte Switzerland, which is very cool. And they are an absolute dream to work with. And they're also like, we want LinkedIn Rach. So I can be myself. When you think about the big four, I'm like, oh, have I got to be really serious? And they're like, nah, go for it. Which I love. And yeah, I've already done a workshop with them, and we're working on a second one now. So that's very cool. Doing some work with National Grid through an ex-colleague, also very cool. Obviously now I can't think of any others. I've got like energy firms, legal firms, charities. So yeah, it's amazing. It blows my mind, and I have to remind myself that this is happening, because I'm like you, like always thinking about, right, what's next? Let's go bigger. Let's scale. Well, not scale, but like, what's my next financial target? And I do have to take a moment and be like, Rach, like think about the people that you're working with, think about the names that you've got now, and it's pretty cool.
Love it. Congratulations, because you are absolutely smashing it. And you never know, like, you never fully know when someone comes in, but usually I can go, they're going to be good. And I was like, she'll be fucking good. A lot of the time it comes down to sense of humor and just being able to take it in your stride. I've found if you take stuff too seriously and you're too erratic, especially at the start, and too reactive, it can usually that can be a telltale sign that you're not going to perform as well as someone who is more relaxed, sense of humor. Again, I don't just want to say it because you've spoken about it, but if someone is just happy to swear, a lot of the time, I think it's a big draw for other people, but also just shows confidence in themselves. When I was unconfident, I've not thought about this before, so I don't know how it will come out. When I was lacking confidence in my marketing, there is no way I would have sworn. Now I'm much more confident.
Yeah, that's so true.
It is, and I've never thought about it like that. I'm just going to start fucking swearing all the fucking time now.
You do already.
Yeah, more.
Wow.
More.
I completely get that. I totally agree. When I was marketing before I felt confident about marketing, I was trying to fit a mold. And I think about, like, I go back to some of my posts from a few years ago and I'm like, oh God, it's so cringy. But I can remember you saying to me, because obviously, like, when you start C2C, you know, not to reveal any state secrets or anything, but there's a lot of consistency of doing stuff that you don't want to do. And like, you talk about the reps and, you know, keep on doing it, keep on doing it, keep on doing it. Like, don't try and change course just because something's not working after a couple of weeks. And I was, I don't know, like maybe a month in and talking about wins. And I was like, you know, not quite where I'm hoping to be, but I know I was going to keep going. And I can remember you saying to me, like 60 to 90 days. Like that's, and so I just had in my head like 90 days. Just do it for 90 days. Because I trust you guys that it will work. And if not, we can course correct and all that. And I can remember you just commenting below on Slack, like it's gonna be quicker than that for you. And that was like the rocket up my arse that I needed. Because I was like, Chris thinks I'm going on the right track. This is amazing. And yeah, and then it did. It was less than 90 days, less than 60 days. And they like you talked before about Stephen Locke and his research calls were like that did a lot for me. It was massive. Because that was less scary than asking people for a sales call.
Yeah, and it gets you on the phone with some targeted people as well, doesn't it?
And again, like confidence, just talking about my offer.
Yeah,
without trying to sell. It's really good.
Yeah, it's again liberating because then you can switch into sales mode because you've said it enough times and the muscle memory's there, which is just like just those reps, providing going in the right direction. A couple more questions because this was only meant to be a 15-minute thing. I'm interested to hear what you think is different about C2C compared to the other programs that you've been in.
The bollockings from you, which we all joke about, but we all need and we all love. So when we have a call and you can tell everyone like hasn't really been doing the reps, you're like, what are you lot doing all day? And it's so true. You completely call us out on our shit, which is what we all need. Because again, like it's really easy to avoid the stuff that, even though you know it's going to make the difference, if it feels uncomfortable, it's far easier to find some admin to do or to, you know, write some content or whatever it might be. So I think the bollockings are really good. The course itself is the reason I joined, and that is just, I've never seen anything like it. And the care that you put into it and how the fact that you're on like version 287 already and you're constantly trying to improve it is amazing, because it, like the stuff, I don't even know how you do it. It's very weird. But the stuff you come up with is incredible. And the community, the people. And I'm not going to lie, I had absolutely no interest in the people when I joined. I wasn't there to make friends, which sounds really harsh. But I was about like, this is the course. I need like a step-by-step process. That's what I was looking for. And the community is amazing. Like the people, you obviously select the right people, because the people in there are wicked and fun and high vibe, and everyone's got each other's backs, and everyone loves it when other people do well. Just awesome. Yeah.
It is. That's like one thing I've never really tried to sell C2C on, which might be to my detriment, but it's like I feel like community is such a hard thing to sell because you don't know it until you're in there. You're coming in for the selfish reasons. It's been maybe once or twice when we used to take sales calls and people have said to me, I just feel like I need a community. I'm like, I think I was up front and just said, look, that's not the reason to join us. Like the reason to join us is the roadmap. The community is kind of like a byproduct of a load of people going on the same journey and having similar senses of humor.
Yeah,
so, but it is the most powerful thing.
Yeah.
More powerful than anything else, I think.
And I guess like they all have found, I'm assuming they found C2C through you. And like if they don't like laughing and having fun and swearing and kind of doing the stuff that they need to do, then they're not right for anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's another great thing about swearing. It will get rid of people who aren't the right fit without the right sense of humor. Fuck them, some might say. Anyway, one last question, if I may.
Okay.
You've probably heard this one before. It's possibly my favorite. If your best friend was a perfect fit and they were considering joining C2C and you had a minute to persuade them, what would you say?
Don't bother. No, I'm joking. Oh gosh, a minute. Okay. Join if you're fed up of going around in circles, if you feel like you've got a lot more to offer but don't know how to get there, if you feel like sales and marketing is a slog, with it, like join for all those reasons, but also like the confidence, I think, for me. And it has changed everything for me. Like I have no doubt that if I hadn't joined C2C, then I'd be where I was a year ago, 18 months ago. I'd probably be working for somebody else or charging like 50 quid for my time. And yeah, I've forgotten what the question was, but I'm sure that's a minute.
That'll do. That was like a very accurate summary. Amazing. Rach, absolutely killing it. It's, you're a piece of the furniture now when it comes to C2C. You're always there. The input and enthusiasm is amazing. I like ideal client to a T. When I think of our ideal clients, there is you and someone else that I always come back to. Whenever I'm going through like an offer or a campaign, I'm like, how do I make it speak to him and to her? So I've got a male and a female, and you're the female. So thank you from me and the rest of the team for just being an absolute pleasure to work alongside. And here's to a good second half of 2026 for you.
Bring it on. Thank you. And thank you to all you guys for being total legends.
All part of the service. What can we say? I'm going to end it, but we might have to stay on just because it needs to upload some local recordings. But I will see you tomorrow night.
We'll see. No, I'm joking. Yeah, see you tomorrow night.
Oh, it's going to cut off.